This pandemic has obviously been hard on all students, but for some, in addition to doing their own remote schoolwork, some of those students have also had to take on extra responsibilities, helping care for their younger siblings. We want you to meet 3 young students from across the country who dealt with these very particular challenges. First off, 14-year-old Kaci Amaral from Maui.
At the beginning of the school year, my parents decided that it would be best for me to do online schooling. But what I didn't know was that I was also going to become a teacher, a security guard, a principal, and a cafeteria worker overnight. Here's what I mean. I have an 11-year-old brother in the 5th grade, Lance, and a 9-year-old sister in the 4th grade, Kira, which means if I'm doing all online school, so are they. The 3 of us are crammed in a 15-foot room all day for the entire school year. They are always fighting. All I have to do is walk out of the room for 10 seconds and then... Every day I have to warm up their lunches and make sure they eat in time to get to their next meeting. Finally, I've been relearning 4th grade math. My sister doesn't like math, so sometimes I have to help her with her homework. This would be fine if they didn't keep changing math. Every time I try to help her, it's always the same.
But that's not how we do it in class.
Well, I think my mom skills are kicking in. But even though they drive me insane, life would be boring and lonely without these little monkeys. Go! So I guess I have to say I still love them, right? Hey!
The next video we want to see is from Southern California, and it's from 18-year-old Ryan Carter.
For 18-year-old senior Ryan Carter, distance learning means taking more responsibility, says his 15-year-old brother, Ty.
There was always mix-ups with Zoom, mix-ups with Canvas. And for me and my brother, since he's autistic and deaf, he would react negatively due to the confusion and frustration. I've had to personally assist my brother with getting used to the programs to really get ahead and start to learn.
Online instructions are puzzling to anyone, but even much so for Ty.
It's hard for him to tell me what's really wrong and what he needs to do. He says it in his own way. I respect him and regard him as just my brother. I don't look at him as autistic and deaf. I just see him as another brother that needs help with a problem. It's not that I have to deal with him or anything like that. It's more like he has to deal with me.
Lastly, we want to hear from 17-year-old Hannah Ghebrelul from Houston, Texas.
As much as I love my siblings, it can be really hard sometimes, especially with being the second eldest. During quarantine, things haven't gotten easier, especially since my parents have been working a lot more all day and sometimes overnight. When it comes to cleaning around the house, I would take up most of the work since my older sister had a lot more on her plate. It was really frustrating at first because it felt like no one else would help. It took a lot of effort and constant lecturing from my mom to get them to help out a lot more. Which is nice because I hardly wash the dishes anymore, but also because I'm seeing them take on a lot more responsibility and becoming more mature. As long as we're not fighting, we're always having a great time together. Whether it be taking a game of cards way too seriously, hanging out with friends.
Yes.
I watched Telenovela. These moments make everything worth it, and what has been getting me through these hard times.
Leah just taking a nap.
Mom, you ate my chicken! It's not funny! I know you.
I'm so glad to say that we have Kaci and Ryan and Hannah here with us now. Thank you all for those beautiful videos that gave us a good sense of really what your year was like. Kaci, I want to ask you, when you look back on this year, what was the hardest part of it for you?
We had to get used to being in the same classroom all the time. Normally we have about 6 hours apart at school, but we've been together all day, so we have more chances to get on each other's nerves.
Ryan, to you, you were obviously shouldering a lot of responsibility here, not only doing your own schoolwork, but looking after your brother, Ty. And let's say everyone goes back to school as normal. That's going to probably be difficult for him suddenly not to have you around like he's had.
I do believe that he makes friends just as well as other people do, and people love him at school and encourage him a lot, and those personal feelings and emotions really drive him to want to talk to other people and want to be around other people. So it does improve his daily activities.
I mean, we all hope that there's never another pandemic like this and we don't have to go through what we went through. But you all have become expert in homeschooling in some way. Like, let's say we had to go do this again, Ryan. What would you tell your teachers and school administrators about how to make this a better process for people like you and your brother?
People with autism tend to be more strict and hard on themselves to get what they want out and to keep things orderly. So giving them patience and time will definitely allow them to participate just as well as any other student in the class.
I'm curious, did you ever have to ask for help with any of this process along the way?
Yeah, most definitely. We've been quarantined for about a year, and it was like a year-long process. It wasn't this easy in the beginning. So it's like slowly over time and my own experiences, like trying to take care of them and like get them to do things, will they able to like actually learn the skills in order to like actually get them to do stuff or actually juggle things going on at home.
When you look back on this year, do you think that this will have been a positive experience for you, a mixed experience? How do you think you'll see it?
I think it'll be both. There were some bad things about it, but there were some good things too. Like my siblings and I, we all got closer. So there's certain things about them, like when they're lying now, I can tell. They make this certain
That's a very
face.
good skill to have.
So now they haven't been getting away with as much as they used to.
I believe it was positive in where I had some time to myself to also teach myself electronics. I started 3D printing a lot, and I began actually creating mask attachments. I saw that people were getting rashes around the ears. I developed a model to 3D print to alleviate that pressure off the ears, to put the mask onto the back of the head, and to also take it directly off the ear.
It's fantastic. I wonder what each of you is most looking forward to do that you haven't been able to do this year. Ryan, let's start with you.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things I would like to do, like go to a movie theater with my friends and like possibly go to the beach.
One thing pops into mind since I'm in Texas. There's this like sand castle competition that happens every year in Galveston, and that's something we'd always go to like every summer. And we haven't been able to for the last 2 summers, so that was a big bummer. So hopefully, if it's going to be this summer, that's definitely something I'm going to go to with them.
And Kaci, what are you most looking forward to doing?
Go back to in-person school so I can see all my friends again and get away from my brother and sister.
Amen to that. All right. Thank you all so much for being here today and talking to us and sharing these stories about your pandemic year. Kaci Amaral, Ryan Carter, and Hannah Ghebrelul. Thank you, guys.